Welcome to another edition of Two Sides to Opinion podcast. I'm your co-host Marcus, and I got my compadres with me, Coach Josh and Mr. Joshua Jones. How you fellas doing today?
Doing great, baby.
Good man on this Thursday.
Yes, sir. We've been having some interesting things come about in these sports. Some things that are weird, things that have nothing to do with sports in a sense, but because of who the individuals are, we got to give a little bit of topic about it, and then you got some preseason WNBA. You got the NCAA making calls. You got golf in shambles per se. Um, so let's go ahead and get this thing started. We're gonna start with the very first topic, which I believe everybody has some sense of knowledge about what's going on. So it begs a big question: how should teams handle off-field allegations involving a coach? And does this conversation around Mike Vrabel change how organizations evaluate leadership? Coach, I'll start with you first, man. What you got to say about this?
So let me get this down and let me say some of these things in the nicest way, the most PC way. Um, Other sports in the same city, other sports teams, they have showed us how you handle situations like this. College football, college basketball have had things of this nature that has gone on, and they have handled it a certain way. Um, I think these people are grown and they can do whatever you want to do. That's my opinion. I don't agree with it, but they're grown. But when we're talking about leadership and how things are leaked out, um, who's the secret source, um, how is a certain person getting information, um, what kind of example is that setting for the other female journalists, reporters, that they have to have an extramarital affair with someone to get information that's pertinent to their job? Um, what kind of, what is that saying to other women in the business? And what is it saying to potential females?
So basically, what you're saying is, what type of precedence is it setting moving
Yeah.
forward? Got you.
To future journalists that are women. And what is the look? So now when we see up every journalist, we're gonna be like, oh, well, they had to sleep with somebody to get that information. Like that's crazy. Like, and I don't like how the that is kind of one sided, because I think Vrabel he should be getting it. And I don't care what he getting at home. But we just saw what the Boston Celtics did about 3 years ago, right? Um, hey,
Here's what I say about this topic. What you do for one, you should have done to the other, regardless of what. They both were in career fields. They both um, had significant others married. Um,
married.
yeah, I heard something from I think it was David Banner who said it best. He said um, he was working with an individual, and he said he saw him working with someone who was married, and they cheated on their significant other, their wife, and he cut ties with them. He said, if you can do that to someone you love, then what can you do to me? And that made a lot of sense. So I'm conflicted in ways of how in Boston or in New England the fans perceived him. He walked on stage at a
Q&A.
at well, no, it's for the ticket holders. It was for the ticket
Yeah,
holders.
but he was doing a Q&A with them, like a
Yeah.
question and answer. And they
So he walked.
cheered him on.
Yeah, like they felt sympathy for him. There's no sympathy to feel for anyone who does something knowingly and knowingly that it's wrong.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you feel type of sympathy. I don't care how much winning in football or basketball there is. There, I hear a lot of organizations talk about integrity. Well, we know this organization doesn't have very much integrity because you can take a look at the top of their guy. He has some alleged misfortunes in buildings he shouldn't have been in. And then along in this organization, they had cheating scandals. So when you talk about integrity, you look at what happened, and the coach, something should have happened to him. The NFL already came out and said nothing from what starting to come out, because a little bit after this came out, pictures came out that when he was in Tennessee, they were at a pool hall having drinks, living it up. It's a lot of things coming out of this, and she's getting the brunt force of this. And because he made it to her Super Bowl, they're tending to not give him the lashes that he deserved. You got anything to say about this, Jones?
It's well, and I'll preface this by saying, anything I say right now is allegedly, right? Because we don't have any concrete proof or
Agreed.
any facts to go by, right? We just have uh, opinions, essentially, right? Um, it's you know, it's it's a lot, right? Because I think Coach brought it up. You know, um, there are certain coaches. I think it's within the same state, same city, right, that had some things going on within the organization, and it was dealt with differently. The tone was different. The narrative was different. You had people that were very loud about what happened, and had very strong opinions about what happened, right? And some of those same people, whether they're covering this sport or not, um, and some of those same people, they were covering multiple sports, and they took a very hard stance. But now um, there's radio silence, right? No one's saying anything at all. And I know you just said, what you should have did for one, you should have did for both. Well, and they're not going to come out and say it. Uh, Whether they forced her or gave her an option to step away, or the alternative was her being fired, right?
Well, yes. What
Go
you
ahead.
call him did come out. He, the what's where she worked at?
Was it the Athletic?
Yes, the head dude did come out and said he moved too fast. So
Yeah,
you know what that.
because they supported her, and then they had to come back and kind of backtrack a little bit, but they didn't. I mean, the Athletic didn't say that we gave her an option to resign, or we were going to fire her. It is just it's just assumed that that's the case, but she resigned, and she wasn't let go by the organization, right? And for them to say that they are not going to investigate at all, you know, is concerning, right? Because and I think what your point was is, what you do for one, you should do for everyone, right? So when they had the issue in Boston, right, that should have kind of been the blueprint for the path forward on something like this. So um, I think you guys are absolutely right. The Patriots have been known for this type of behavior, and it's unfortunate that you're willing to dismiss certain behaviors because of who the person is, right, or their recent successes, right. So they just went to a Super Bowl, right. So now the question then becomes, if he was on the Jets and this was the same type of situation, would he have been let go? Right?
Would he have been investigated?
Would he have been investigated? Would there have been penalties? Would there have been fines? Right? I mean, we've seen players get penalized for less and suspended for detriment to what detriment to the team,
To the team.
Yeah, I
right?
don't agree.
And
I just want to pause for you for a second. I agree with everything you're saying. And how is and I'm talking to you, General. How is this not detrimental to the team? Is what I'm not understanding.
no, it most certainly is. That's the point, right?
Mhm.
So even the standard from the coach to the player isn't consistent.
Let me let me say this. You know how it's not detrimental to the team? Because when he went out for that Q&A to the ticket holders the other day, yay, yay, and they bought more tickets.
Yeah, but I mean, but what about the integrity of the game, right? Um,
That's a
I
myth
think
now.
No,
yeah, but go ahead.
I think you brought up some earlier, Coach, where you said, this sets the table for information being passed down, saying, oh,
Tampering.
so, well, not just that. Oh,
Yep.
she
Okay,
got the she
this
got the
AJ Brown stuff.
she got the inside scoop, right? And
Yes.
and the only reason now she was being held around is because she had the inside scoop, but she had the inside scoop because she was allegedly doing some things behind closed
Yeah.
doors that most people frown upon. So then that goes forward to like Coach says, is this going to be the standard moving forward? And if so, everybody better get treated the exact same way he's been treated.
Yeah. Hey, because I'm gonna
Well,
say this. Sometimes your skin is a sin, and sometimes your skin is a win.
and so, but to the point that I was going to make is, it definitely has a lot to do with tampering, right? Because
Mhm.
she's a trusted voice. She's an insider, right? So if she's saying that a certain team is looking to make a trade, or listen, we can put out some propaganda and some messaging, right, to say that this player isn't as so. We see it all the time in the draft, right? So we'll an
Ruben
incident
Baines
happens.
Jr. Yeah.
Yeah, an incident happens with a player, right? Everyone is well aware of it, right? Nobody's talking about it at the combine. Nobody's talking about it, uh, uh, or at least saying that it's been talked about in some of these interviews. But a week away from the draft, right? Everybody starts running stories about this particular player, and he has these types of issues or that type of issue, or they try to get some information on that player that nobody really knows about, but they've been sitting on, right? But they've been knowing about
Mhm.
it for months, right? Just so they can get them to slide from the top 1 to 10, right, to the bottom 20 to 30, right, in a draft. So these teams that are good can get good players or premium players that should have gone to other teams, but they spun a narrative to where that if that team takes that player, then they may be looked at in a certain light. But if this other team takes them, right, it's them now taking a chance on a troubled player that they might, if they get them in the building, they can wrap their arms around them and get them turned around, right? But you know, it could, I mean, potentially could have never been an issue to begin with, but they spin it in such a way that that player value drop. Now, they're getting less money, right? Because as you know, the salaries are set in the NFL, right? Especially in the first round, right? So wherever you get drafted is wherever you get drafted, and the money is the money, right? And the money is drastically different from number 1 to number 28, right? And especially, and we're not even going to talk about this, especially if you were supposed to be a first round draft pick and you get picked up in the 5th round because of narrative.
Sounds familiar.
And nothing that you did or on or off the field, right? But people start talking, and there's anonymous sources saying that he didn't do so well in the interview, or he didn't carry himself that well, or he should have did this instead of doing that. He should have went left instead of going right. And I know Coach had brought up AJ Brown, right? So what if someone, and I'm not saying that this happened, but I mean, there's a potential for something like this to happen because of that type of relationship, right? And this is how it's a conflict of interest, right? And I think the Athletic said it can't even be a perceived conflict of interest, right? So what they're saying there is you can't even put yourself in a compromising position to where someone can say it looks like you've compromised yourself, right? Let alone, actually having information that is actual or factual. But yeah, you could actually, I mean, you can start something, 2 or 3 months out when you got some information to start to diminish someone's value, right? So when, let's say, the Eagles and the Patriots did come to the table and they wanted to come to an agreement, Mike Vrabel and team could say, well, listen, this guy's a bad locker room guy. He's doing this, he's doing that. I know you want a first round pick for him, but guess what? We're going to give you 2/3 in the 2027 draft for this gentleman.
Yeah. Those words better not ever come out of his mouth. I'm just saying.
No, but you see what I mean, right?
No, agreed.
But we'll give you a 4th for AJ Brown, right?
Yeah,
because he's a problem.
He can't be the one saying it. I'm just saying. Mike Vrabel better not say nothing. Nada.
Sure, but if this had never come out, right? And so check this out. So if this story had never came out,
can I ask y'all?
Hold on, let me finish this because I'll forget it. So if this story had never came out, and listen, a report came out saying that the Eagles traded AJ Brown to the Patriots for a 5th round pick, and then we would have been like, man, how did that happen? Like, AJ's a premium talent. Like, they should have got. I mean, and you've had conversations like this about other players that gotten traded, and you're like, hold on, well, how did they get him for a 3rd? Well, how did they get him for a 4th? Well, we might have some insight to how that's happening now.
Yeah,
I just got one. Well, I got 2 questions for both of y'all. Did the Athletic get it right? Letting the young lady, putting the force on the young lady to remove herself. Did the Athletic get it right? Do y'all feel they got it right?
I think I know you're going with this, and I think because of the compromise and just strictly from the business side of it, I think both of them should have been let go.
Okay. Yeah. No. I'm okay. You answered the second question. What should have happened to Mike Vrabel? I at least thought he should have been suspended for a year, at least a year. Coach Josh, what do you thought should have happened to Coach Vrabel?
We done seen this before.
Yeah. I agree.
We done seen this before, so we know. So we know what you got to do. This.
Yeah. So what? I think the standard is what, a 1 year suspension and removal from the team.
Yep. That's what I saw. That's what I was thinking. Same thing.
I think the standard has been set.
Yep. Let's move on to our next topic, man. Ooh. Uh-oh. we're not saying that it is MA. We saying it's an inappropriate relationship in a business setting because they are in the business setting. She works for the media, he works for the team. There's a lot of information that is transferred, and she's been favorable to get this information because she's doing different types of behavioral
XYZ.
issues. Yeah, behind the
Well,
scenes.
and what
So
let's because I know he said this is Ime, but let's take it to a NBA player standpoint. Um, should something happen to an NBA player if he tells his friends, "Listen, the line on me is, uh, you know, 10.5, right? And I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna fake an injury, so bet the under, right? That's passing information, right, to someone. And I know this is gambling. I know it's kind of apples and oranges, but in the same vein, we're talking about it affecting the game, affecting trades, affecting the outcomes of things. So
Affecting salaries, draft picks, money.
so Marcus, no. If they were just dating and broke up, should he been fired? No. First of all, he's married. She's married. There's things that we 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 seen it happen in college football. What was his name?
Michigan
Uh,
coach.
What's Arkansas Razorback dude?
yeah,
I
when a
thought you were
girl
talking
fell
about
off
the
the
Michigan
motorcycle.
coach.
Yeah.
Bobby Petrino.
Um, we saw my what's his name? My coach at Florida. He stepped down after his because he was over there hugging on the young lady. Y'all remember? But his yes, yes, it does. It has a lot to do with business, especially in the essence when they're doing business. There's a married man, a married woman sleeping with each other, giving information that should be going to everybody, not particularly this one individual, only because they're sleeping with you. I think you're looking at it as it's so simple, but it's not that simple. It's actually a bigger, broader scale to, and this is why she stepped down because I think there's even more to it. She was getting so much inside information when she was in Tennessee because she was leaking things that nobody knew because she had spent the night with them the night before.
Yeah, I mean,
Allegedly,
yeah,
it's
I mean,
more than Mike Vrabel.
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
Yeah, there are more names that are coming out, and I think
I
the
think that's
athletic.
also why she jumped
Yeah,
ship too.
yeah, I think they knew that it was going to be more coming out. But you know, even if you take the marriage part out of it and you just talk about the business side of it, right? It's
Yeah, that's a conflict
like
of
I said,
interest.
yeah, it's a conflict of interest because she's getting a lot of information about stuff that maybe she shouldn't know about. And
And not
like I said as well, she has a pen, right? She's a journalist, right? She's an insider. She can spin narratives for these folks, right? Not to say that that happened, but it's the perception that it could have happened, right?
yes.
She could have had a lot of influence on different things, different trades. Like I said, increasing someone's value and decreasing someone's value, right?
Yep.
For said team. So if you just talk about the business side of it, right, that relationship, that inappropriate relationship, it has a lot to do with it because she's getting intel and she's getting insight that nobody else is getting.
But then the same thing, why can't we hold an individual accountable to a standard? In the essence of you're married, she's married, you shouldn't be doing things of this nature because of that. Why can't we hold individuals to that type of standard? Then what's the use of you being married? And then what's the use of him coming out saying, I have to be better for my family, I have to be better for my for the team. If he didn't do anything wrong, then why is he saying those type of things? That's the other thing I'm saying.
Well, so but also, I mean, I know it was mentioned that it's not Ime, but because it was an inappropriate relationship within the organization. I mean, but this is, I mean, also almost considered the same thing, right? I mean, don't they
Come on, bro.
work for the
Oh,
same
okay.
the same network?
I'm not mad at you. I'm mad. I'm
No,
getting
you
mad
fine.
at what he's saying. He says it. isn't perception. She hasn't revealed she knew anything, bro. Yes, she has. She knew some things. She broke some things, and people have already called it out. She broke some things that nobody knew, especially when she was in Tennessee. Um,
It's wrong.
that's what I'm saying. At what
Yeah,
point are you
it's
gonna have a
wrong.
moral standard? I mean,
It's
if
wrong
you,
morally.
I mean, if this is how you
Wrong from a
operate, this is
business
how
standpoint.
this is how you operate. I'm not saying that's how you operate. I'm saying if you okay
Mhm.
with how that
Well,
handles,
no, well. Let me just say this because I don't even think it's really our opinion, right? The standards, and I keep going back to Ime, and I know there are other examples. I just can't recall them right now. But
Tucker,
yeah,
Bobby
but
Sharon.
Petrino.
yeah, I mean, but I mean, there's a lot of folks, when an inappropriate relationship happened, right? And either they're in the parent or sister organization, if they're under the same umbrella, there have been penalties for that. Like I said, I know you said this isn't Ime, but Ime had an inappropriate relationship, and then he was suspended for a year and let go,
He wasn't
right?
even married.
And this isn't even allegations of shared information.
He wasn't even married.
Yeah, so no, that's
See,
not no, that's fine. I mean, I think we beat a dead horse, man. We can go to the next topic.
Man, Marcus, man, you must want to cheat, bro.
Ooh.
Not you, Marcus.
Let's move on to our next topic, man. Let's talk about these NBA playoffs. Hey, man, hey, these NBA playoffs have been wild with a capital W. It's been wild out there, man. First of all, I'm actually start this one off. I want to go back to the game last night. You got the Pistons and you got the Magic, and you had two number one draft picks going yizams. I mean, they went at it. They both had 35 apiece. Um, I I watched Paulo Banchero say, "Get on my back, Orlando. I'm gonna take you for a ride and keep us in it." Hey, that dude played out of his mind. And on the other side, you had Cunningham, who was the MVP favorite at some point in the season, doing what we thought he should have been doing. If basketball is like this and it continues this way, I can't even complain, man. I can't. What about you guys? What you guys got going on?
Let me pose a question to the panel because I was surprised that OKC sweeping the Suns.
I wasn't.
A clean sweep, not one
Yeah,
game.
they didn't have their true big anyway.
Yeah, Mark Williams hurt.
Listen. The Lakers ain't got half their team.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Listen, the Rockets.
Here
Well,
we go.
the Rockets, right? KD, he was out.
Here we go.
I'm just talking about. Listen, not one game, but so here's the question I want to pose to the panel before we.
Yeah,
Sure,
I agree,
okay,
Marcus.
okay,
I agree
okay.
with you on this one, baby.
OKC's away. Okay, sure, they're the better team. My question to you is: does OKC have a softer whistle than every other team in the NBA? And let me preface it by saying there's video out. The SGA is now just grabbing people by the wrist. He's grabbing defenders by the wrist and moving them out of the way. Now I didn't see people use elbows, forearms, and stuff to try to even swimming through, right? But to grab somebody's wrist, I'm like, no, you're not. Hey, listen, no.
I would agree that they. Well, I'm the dude that looked like Gucci Mane.
All I'm asking is, did Booker
the referee
did Booker
that looked
have,
like Gucci Mane, who had on the shade, the shy new shoes that nobody can get in all black, was definitely calling some things that had everybody looking weird. I'm just saying.
Hold on. Well, now we can tie this into the last segment. Listen, did he get some new shoes? Did he get some kickbacks? Hey, I didn't allegedly, right?
Actually, let's go to this, and I'm gonna go to Coach. Coach,
Yeah.
what you think about this Rockets Lakers series?
Man,
Because
it's a good one.
no, it
It's a
is.
good one. It's a good one. I
Do
watched the
you?
game last night. Man,
Let
let
me
me tell
ask
you
you.
something.
Do you
Hmm?
feel what Kendrick Perkins said was correct or no?
About who?
Not about who. He said that game game 5 for the Lakers was a must win, and if it wasn't a must win, they're gonna go in game 7 not knowing what to expect in the essence of they might have a monster on their hand by letting the Rockets wake up.
Uh, yeah, because at this stage in his career, Braun is a passer and a facilitator and a rebounder. For him to be your leading scorer, well, he did it 2 games in a row or 2 games, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But I watched them other boys last night. Man, they can't score the ball. Luke Kennard,
At
Luke,
one point, I think he had 1 point, right?
Luke.
Yeah, but that's the addition of adding Reed. That's the problem. That was
Who?
the problem.
Uh,
Because he was
yep, Austin Reed,
because Luke Kennard was getting those shots when Austin Reeves wasn't there.
bro.
Let me ask you, do you think inserting Austin Reeves in this series is going to cost the Lakers?
Mm,
Because he didn't play well.
No, no, because they need a score, Braun winded, bro.
No, you agreed. I saw that last night. Agreed. And
Yeah,
then
Braun winded.
he's going on
Braun,
short days rest because they go tomorrow,
yeah,
and he only gets that one day of rest, and they're traveling.
yeah. So I mean, bro, man, that's like a 4 hour flight, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and bro, like, Marcus Smart wasn't scoring, bro. DeAndre Ayton was the one that was actually doing something.
He says MA starting to outcoach. I'll give you that because we was all
He
questioning that
is,
boy at one point.
he
Boy,
is. Like Udoka, he really making some adjustments, and those boys are actually playing. So like, I'm
agreed.
like, okay, with them boys, they're playing defense. But when you got the 41-year-old that gotta give you 28 a game, no, man, that's not gonna work, bro.
I agree.
Well,
Like, man, come on.
Houston to me feels like a team that just realized that they could win, right?
Oh, they got momentum.
No,
Oh,
agreed.
Yeah.
oh,
Like,
they got
oh,
momentum.
yeah.
Is Boston in trouble?
Uh, they playing right now, right?
They lost.
Oh,
Yeah.
What's the series at 3-2?
No. 3-3.
but hold on. So let me talk about that. I'm a big MB.
Hater.
I'm real critical of him,
Me too. Me too. I
but
agree.
I'm gonna tell you what I've been seeing. He been scoring a lot of 2-point field goals.
Well, he went 0 for 6 and then he went to the paint. Yes, he
Hey,
did.
but this
He
is what I'm
did.
gonna tell you. When he scores layups and he scores little 5 foot, 10 foot jumpers, Philly look nice.
Maxey had 30. Paul George had
Ooh,
23.
yeah.
Joel Embiid had 19. The young rookie had 14. Kelly Oubre, who you don't like, had 14.
Uh,
Um,
I don't really like him like that. Like, I'm not gonna say that I don't like him. I don't like his game.
what happened to
How
Derek
they
White? Like he
no,
just disappeared ever since Jason Tatum returned.
yeah,
Like,
but Boston shooting a lot of 3-pointers again, bro.
mhm.
But shooting all them 3-pointers when Tatum was gone like that, bro. Them boys was going to the basket and won. Now them boys done spread the floor again, and it's like, all right, man, we're gonna shoot these 3-pointers. And
Do the
I'm telling you, bro, man, that's hurting people, bro. Bro, man,
do
that's
the
hurting people.
do the Pistons make it out of Orlando tomorrow
Nope.
I think
for both of y'all?
Nope.
I think they do because Wagner
Oh,
hurt.
yeah, Wagner is hurt, but after seeing what Paolo just did, Jesus.
Yeah, but Paulo lost, bro.
He did. I mean, but
Okay then. Okay then.
but your role players play better at home. Marcus say he's taking
Yeah,
a.
yeah. Orlando got that.
Mm.
Mm,
We definitely gonna have
motorcade, baby.
next week. Does the Nuggets make it out tonight?
They losing right now, I think.
I think either it's a tie game or a 2-point game. I don't remember.
Yeah,
It's,
I think
it's
they
no
losing.
commercial right now.
Yeah, it is.
And
I'm
you
asking a
struggling with
question.
Minnesota.
I
Like you
told you
struggling with
I'm taking the. I told you I'm taking the Timberwolves in this one.
Well,
yeah.
it's actually a 6-point game. But what if the Nuggets make it out today? They win the series.
Oh yeah.
If they make it out today, the Nuggets
What did McDaniel say?
go at everybody.
He said the entire starting five is food. He's like, I'm eating everybody up.
And the Nuggets not beating San Antonio.
Yeah, and that's why he had 6 points in that previous game after that. He got to relax, bro. He got to relax. He got to relax. You got to relax.
Hey, listen, I like the confidence. I like the bravado, man.
Yeah. I get you, but come on, bro. You got.
Yeah, no, I love the confidence.
Let's move on to our next subject, man.
Hold on, really quick. You didn't talk about Cavs. How you feeling about the Cavs?
That's a boring series. I don't even want to talk about it.
It ain't boring no more.
Nah, it's boring, bro. I watched them play, and it's just pure garbage. I don't. You got Brandon Ingram disappearing for a second. He's out.
He hurt.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, and it seemed like they played better without him, and I don't know, man. It's just a weird series, and I don't like it. So that's just my opinion. But I like.
Hold on. But can we agree that I told y'all a couple weeks back that the NBA playoffs was going to be pretty good?
When we had the playing games, we thought they were going to be pretty good. But you did say that. We'll give you that, yes, sir.
Hey, Marcus, I agree with you, San Antonio.
That as long as he stop acting goofy and not tripping over himself, he'll be fine.
Hey, bro, chill out, bro.
I mean, he knocked himself out. Let's move on. If you're the PGA, how should you handle LIV golfers who now want to return back to the tour? If you guys don't know what's going on, LIV basically said after the 2026 season, they're pulling their funding, which means there's nothing. There was an update today where they brought in a new board of governors of individuals, but all the players and the PGA warned them, while the money looks good now, it's not going to last long. That's what the PGA told them. And if you're the PGA, what do you do? Do you treat the players as such, or do you point the finger at them and say, hey, we told you so? You can start next season. What do you do in that essence? You guys any?
Yeah, let me just start, and then I'll let you guys have it. These were big names that they took away from the PGA Golf Tour, right? Mm-hmm. So what are you going to do? Keep them out, right? I mean, they would help. They're going to help drive revenue source, and they're going to help bring excitement back to the tour, right? Listen, and I want to hear what you guys have to say, because I mean, what do you do? Punish them?
I'm to the point where no, I think you eventually take them back, but make them sit out the season. No money, them having no money because that's what they ran for. They ran for the money, so show them no money. For a little bit.
Well, no, and I agree with you, right? So, I mean, if the season is already going, they can return. And no, what I'm saying, if it's already going, then have them sit out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Your point. And then because they left for the money, and they left for a large sum of money, which I think that they got paid, right? So you're saying, I think it's going to hurt them more if that's what you're trying to accomplish there. By sitting out and not playing the game that they want to play, the game that they love, right? Because they already got paid, right? The money that they're going to get coming back to the tour isn't even comparable to what they've already received. So, I mean, if you want them to sit out for the rest of the year and then bring them back in the fold next year, I'm fine with that. But essentially, what's going to happen is, to Marcus's point, the PGA is more worried about their prestige and bottom line, and they're going to bring them back to the fold.
No, I wholeheartedly agree. You bring them back, but you make them pay. But the PGA is also petty too, because they told these young individuals and they warned them. There were some instances where, who was it? Was it Scotty Schefter? Was it Scotty? Or was it wrong? It was one of them that went, and they were having a back and forth. And what's going was like, if you go play over there, then go play over there. Don't try to come over here. Don't try to be a part-timer. So in this essence, I think this is the perfect example to say, next time, listen to us, because they all pay fees. I didn't know this. I didn't know these things. They pay fees.
It's a membership.
To play on the PGA Tour. And so everybody has to pay their dues. And when big-time guys leave, like you guys say, it brings down the revenue, which means they was driving up the price, the dues for everyone else. So I kind of get where.
Let me ask you a question though.
Yeah,
a hypothetical, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just looked it up, right? And the range of what these guys were getting paid on average was between 300 and 500 million. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you have left?
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
Right.
Yeah.
Knowing that you could potentially not, if it did fall through, right, that you may not be able to pay for the PGA. I'm not talking for anyone else, but 300 to 500 million is a nice chunk of change.
I'm over there in the sandbox getting it. Coach, you got anything else on this topic before we move to the next one?
What was the league that Tiger was playing in with the simulator?
Give me a second. I'll give it to you.
But to say all of that, that's why you need these dudes back for the PGA, because that guy is out. Tiger is out. Because whatever that league he was with the simulator, that league was coming up fast. And this league was bound to fail because who is attached to Yep in America? That one guy. And then second, once those your older money people figured out where the money was coming from Live, they didn't like that either. So it was bound to fail, man. And I'm gonna say this again. I said it on the last topic or the topic before.
Yeah.
We say that your skin is your sin sometime, and sometimes your skin is a win. So
let me also add to the point I just made, and then we can go ahead and move forward, because I'm also learning about golf, right? And to your point, Marcus, I didn't know that they had to pay dues, but check this out. So expenses, players or independent contractors paying their own travel and caddy expenses, which can range from anywhere to $150,000 to $250,000 annually. Break-even point: a player often needs to earn roughly $400,000 in official winnings to break even every year just to be in the PGA Golf Tour. So you have to win tournament money, right?
So
close to $500,000 before it even becomes profitable for you to be in the PGA Golf Tour. And it also says here that the average salary for PGA golfers is $1.2 million, right? So, and then I ask you again, you're talking about $1.2 million and $300 million. Listen, I would have been gone as soon as they put the contract down.
Exactly. No, and the league is TGL, Tomorrow's Golf League, and it's ran by Tiger and Rory McIlroy. Um,
that league
but
was
it's totally,
nice.
but it's totally different from the PGA.
It's totally
It's
different, but it's a
totally different.
change. But it's a change. Like it showed you new things that you could do with the game.
Yeah,
Um,
agree.
and that's kind of what Liv did too.
No,
Liv showed you.
no, they just threw money and cut down one day of play and thought they had it, and then they eventually
Yeah,
go
but they
back.
also did some stuff with the tour that
Nah,
was
they
different.
crazy
They
part
did
is
some stuff at the golf courses.
they end up going back to 4 days anyway, so it didn't
Yeah.
really matter. The only big difference was like Mr. Jones said, it's money, money, money.
And
So
now the money done ran out.
exactly. Let's move on to our next topic. The WNBA preseason started. You guys got any takes so far, man? I took a
Not
look at.
really.
I'm gonna say this. Um, I feel bad for the rookies, and Jones talked about this before because what you do is you just throwing those young ladies into the season, hoping that they catch on and hopefully that they put it together. A shout out to Floje, who had a pretty decent game in her first outing. She had a 20 piece, and they looked pretty good, up there in Seattle. Um, I'm still on the fence about the young lady in the Fevers jersey because she had one game. She that 3-point shot is off and on. While she did have a much better game this previous outing, but she shot 11 free throws. So I don't necessarily know. I just know one thing: the best player in the WNBA resides, stays, and lives in Las Vegas. And if you question that, then you better rethink basketball for the WNBA. And if I have to explain to you who that is, then you just out here watching stuff because you bored. What you guys got?
So no, I agree. I think I think I beat this point to death. I do feel bad for the rookies. You know what I mean? Like, how do you gel with the team? I know it's just a preseason, right? And then you get a couple of games to kind of work those things out. But I mean, they're not properly working in or worked into the sets. Um, Chemistry's off, timing's off, and they just finished. For a lot of them, just finished a large tournament. You know what I mean? So um, I think we had talked about it. It's not going to be until next year till we actually see um, the full breadth of their skills and how they developed to be an NBA, WNBA professional. So,
I agree with that, man. I agree with that. Coach, anything before we move on to the next topic?
Man, I'm just waiting for basketball, man. It's gonna be good. One thing I learned about the WNBA, when you have rookies that were picked high, that team does not do well for like 2 or 3 years, bro. So
Hmm.
um
Speaking of
I
that,
haven't seen a
Ozzy,
rookie since Simone, since Candace Parker, uh Sylvia Fowles kind of come in and really make a difference on the team and make
agreed.
them better. So, but I guess that's the trend in the WNBA right now.
Yeah,
So,
Ozzy Fudd can't check these girls. Sorry, these women. Because she was
talk about that.
struggling.
Say more
She
about that.
was she was struggling, dog. I mean, she doesn't have very good feet work in the essence on this level. I watched her try to stay with some of the point guards, and she got in foul trouble. She had 3 fouls. She had 6 points. Her 3-point shot is horrible at the current moment. This is not. She's not going to get the shot she's looking for because they don't have a big. Uh, she doesn't have a big that's going to attract what she needs to get that open shot like she was in UConn. They don't have that big. So and she better be careful, because if she gets to a point where she can't knock that down, they're gonna start to leave her wide open, and it's gonna be real mental. You got to remember, she is a rookie. Hey, shout out to a young lady, Raven Johnson, though. They say she couldn't be a point guard. All she did was look like a point guard and play defense. I tell you that thing. Shout out to Raven. Let's move on to our last topic, man. This is weird. I don't know what the well, I do know what the NCAA is thinking, because Coach said it before we got on the air. But the NCAA has expanded to a field of 76 for men's and women's basketball. Is this the right move?
So let me just say this real quick, and then I'll let you guys have it. And I said this right before we jumped on the broadcast. I ain't gonna sing it to you the way I did on the before we got on air, but these NIL deals is killing these teams. these NIL deals is killing these teams, so they're trying to figure out. And listen, so, and I say killing these teams, right? But I think we had to talk about it, right? I think it's just a lot about greed. You know what I mean? I think they have more than enough money already. They've had more than enough money for years now, right? But they want more money, right? And they're used to having a certain number or certain projections or a certain percentage of increase, year over year on an annual basis, right? So I know it's being thought of as more opportunity for schools and more access and showcase, right, for some of the smaller schools and things like that. But bottom line, I think the real reason they're trying to do it is
I agree with you.
I agree. Yeah,
I
think they should. I think they should have left it as is my point, right? And I think the reason they're doing it is for money.
I actually have a different perspective, and I want to see what you guys take on it. With this adding of 76 teams, do we no longer have conference tournaments that are where everybody gets in? Should we change that? Should we just only take the top 8 teams in each conference and let them play, and those are your automatic bids for that 76? And then, because you have some of these weird things where a team that's like number 8 and shouldn't be nowhere in this championship game somehow makes it, and then they steal a spot, which is dope. But I'm to the point where if you're going to add 76 teams, you somewhere down the line, you got to pause. You got to punish your team for not being successful in the season. Do y'all like that? Or not?
I mean, it's an option, right?
Because the SEC has 16 teams, if I'm not mistaken, and I think the Big Ten has like almost 20.
So I think and let me ask you guys this, because I heard this and I was like, okay, that may have some merit to it. So I think what they're trying to slow down or completely stop is having each one of these divisions create their own tournaments and move away from March Madness, the March Madness and NCAA championship game. Almost the way that the bowl games are set up in college football. That's where that's what some of the analysts believe that this is heading to. So I think this is a way to try to mitigate that, to stop them from creating their own tournaments.
It's an interesting world out there, but to me, this looks like nothing but greed. And that begs the difference. Are we going to start the tournament earlier now? Then what?
You have to. You have more teams. You got to start early.
So, and then in that same sense, is there
or
less
start
games?
later?
Yeah, It's a lot to think about, man.
Well, so let me ask you this, right? Because you either have to start earlier or start later, right? And they're looking to do this for men and women's, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they're so to my point though, right? So let's just look at women's basketball, right? They're already like pressed against the timeline, right? Is once the tournament's over, then it's the draft, and 2 weeks later they into the preseason. So if they push it later, right? Now you going from the tournament to the draft right to the season with no type of development.
You know what's wild? They do the women's dirty because they start after the men and finish before the men. That's wild. They start like 2-3 days later and then finish the day before the men's game. That's just completely crazy. You pushing the buttons, and like you said, adding 70, adding another what, 6 to 8 teams, and it's getting wild out here in these streets, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, what's your take, Coach?
Greed.
Magnese.
Like, why you just can't make the NIT better?
Well, the NIT is still there.
No. I'm saying, like,
Give it a bigger platform.
yeah, give a big platform. I mean, because that's your schools right there.
Back in the day,
Like
it was.
that.
You remember back in the day, winning the NIT
Yeah.
was
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah. So, and I'm gonna tell you this. I like some of the format for the NIT because
Playing
those
at home.
schools, yeah, because they play at home.
I like the women's too. I like that they allow them to play at home too.
Yeah. So, like, just make the NIT better. And let me tell you something. I don't want to sound like an old guy and like I don't want to change nothing.
He is old.
But March Madness, they really starting to play with it, and it's not looking good.
It makes you
Like,
not want to watch it until a certain extent. You remember you
yeah,
used to get
just like
excited to watch all of it. Now you like,
yeah, just like with the bowl series. I don't mind 8 teams. I don't mind those 8 teams. But you know what I do mind? Like, why we gotta play all these games? Like, bro, like it's really starting to get like redundant now because now it's starting to add weeks on. Like, you know what made the game good? Like, if I was an LSU fan and they made it last year, they won it. But then this year they come and like they was on the bubble, but they didn't make it. That was
why?
good for media.
I'm
That
gonna
was good
pause
for
you.
media.
I'm gonna pause you right there, and don't start with if I'm an LSU fan. My God, you are a LSU fan. Like,
I don't know, man. I'm up in the air right now, bro. I'm
no,
hearing
you're
bad
not. No,
things.
you're not, dog.
I'm
No,
hearing
you're
bad
not.
things, bro. I'm hearing bad things. But just saying, like that makes for good media takes, bro. Like, ooh, they didn't make it in. Like, but they be acting like if they don't make it in, it is some big travesty. Bro, you didn't do what you supposed to do. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember.
I think if you're a blue blood and you don't make it in, your coach should get fired automatically. That'll make them coach better.
Man, let me tell you something, bro. I live in
Like,
Louisiana. They used to like have the championship series. Private and public was together. Then they split it. Why? Greed. But you know what that did, bro? That just watered it down. And that just helped these sorry coaches stay in jobs longer, bro.
same
So,
thing in Texas.
bro, like that's stupid to me, man.
So y'all
Like,
do know we have 2 state champions at each division here in Texas, right? And there's
yeah,
one.
you got a private school and then you probably got a public
No,
school.
no, not for us. It's not like that. It's 2 public, 2 public for 6A, 2 public for 5A, 2 public. before A. But I'm gonna tell you why. There's a team over there in Katy. He knows who I'm talking about. Their softball program was ranked like number one in the nation probably for the last 5 years. How
Yeah.
many state championships you think that came out of that?
I don't know how many. Tell us.
0.
Okay.
And they kept getting to the very end, and they was getting tripped up. All of a sudden, here comes, we're gonna do this for every sport, 2 champs. So, and they have a real high chance this year of making it to that game. But go ahead, gentlemen.
Man, I'm done, man. It's all about greed. And sometimes that hurts the game. So, and I believe that all of this extra games, because they done put corporate into this, and corporate says that we need to know where your our money going. So, man, it's greed, bro.
Well, it seems like everybody getting paid, especially if you're a referee and you getting limited edition shoes that ain't nobody else got.
Man,
So,
man, ain't
listen,
nobody trying to win no Converse.
listen. So the only thing I'll say in address is I see Marcus had put in the chat. He said they're trying to take advantage of ratings and bets because the kids are not staying past 1 year. I think that used to be the case, and I think we're seeing in football right now that some of these guys are great college players, but won't advance to the next level. So I think we're going to start to see a shift where they start to stay in college a lot more to get the NIL
graduation
money.
rate is up.
Yeah. So
your graduation rate been up for the last 3 years.
Yeah. So I think we're just going to see more and more of that, where kids are staying in college and getting this NIL money and then going or trying to go to the NBA. Now, and I had talked to Marcus about this, and we should bring this up as a topic for next week or maybe sometime in the near future. But this is messing with draft classes, right? Because, and especially, listen, what's the kid Moore from Oregon?
Yeah,
he was like, oh, okay. Well, they talking about Mendoza going number 1. All right, well, who got the number 2 spot? Oh, the Jets. Oh no, I'm gonna go ahead and stay in school for the next year until I see a team or a prospect that I want to go to.
Yeah,
so
he'll be there next year.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody thought that he was coming out this year, and he was projected number 2 overall to go to the Jets, and he seen the Jets, and he was like, "No, I'm okay." He's like, "I'm good. I'm gonna go and get another $4 million or whatever they paying him in college, right? Because they don't have to now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. So the league was the pinnacle, right? Because you were trying to go to college to prove yourself, to then go to get the money at the professional level, right?
Well, the league was the money, so
that's what I mean, right? That was the pinnacle, right? That was the destination. Now the destination is college, right? So now I need to get to college. I need to be a top 5 recruit, right? I need to be, one of the top players in the nation. I get an NIL deal. I haven't even proved myself at this level yet, but they see the potential, and I can make $4 million a year, as a freshman in college.
Or just have one good year. That's it.
Well, I have one good year, right? So the money may be a little different, at the end of your first contract at the professional level, right? But like I said, I mean, if I'm a college student and I'm making $4 million a year, listen, I really don't have to go to the NBA right now. I can wait, or I don't have to go to the NFL right now. I can wait.
I agree. Let's go ahead and wrap this up for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and Marcus. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for everything y'all do, for coming out, joining with us, having a great time. We'll see you guys again next week. Guys, have a great one. Talk to you later. We out.